Reality is far more fluid than you think. The world you perceive, the places you know, the people you meet, everything seems solid, fixed, predictable. But what if I told you that this is just an illusion created by your mind? That reality is not something immutable, but rather a projection of your energy shaped by what you feel, think, and believe internally? Quantum physics suggests that everything around us is made up of waves of possibility. The universe is an ocean of probabilities, and every choice, every thought, every emotion alters the way you navigate through it. What you call reality is merely a specific frequency within an infinite spectrum of possibilities. You might be living one version of your existence right now, but in an instant you can tune into a new version, without even realizing it. If you have ever felt trapped in a repetitive cycle, where everything seems to happen the same way, know that this repetition is not because your life is set in stone. It is because your energy is sustaining this specific version of your experience. But the good news is that, just like radio waves, you can change the station. You can choose a new path, a new reality, simply by adjusting your vibration, your perception, and your consciousness. And what if I told you that you have already transitioned between realities many times without noticing? Every small shift in your energy creates a divergence in your timeline. Maybe it was a day when you woke up feeling different and suddenly things started to flow in unexpected ways. Or that moment when something felt strange, as if the world had taken a small jump, but you couldn't quite explain why. This is not coincidence. You have experienced this before, but your rational mind dismisses these experiences as insignificant details. The truth is, your life is not happening to you. It is happening from you. Every emotion you feel, every belief you carry, every choice you make is shaping the universe around you. You are not simply living inside a fixed reality. You are constantly creating, moving between possibilities, opening and closing doors with every vibration you emit. But then the question arises, if reality is so fluid, why don't we perceive this clearly? What prevents us from seeing these transitions happening? What keeps us stuck in certain versions of our lives, unaware that we could be experiencing something entirely different? These are questions that take us deeper into understanding this phenomenon. And when you start observing the subtle patterns, you begin to notice that your consciousness has far more influence over your reality than you ever imagined. The transition between realities happens so subtly that most of the time, you don't even notice that you have crossed an invisible threshold. There are no announcements, no flashing lights, no clear signs saying, you have now entered a new reality. Everything seems to continue as always, but something has changed. You feel it, but you cannot quite pinpoint what it is. This happens because reality responds to your vibrational state. Your focus determines your experience because whatever you concentrate on expands. Think of your mind as a radio antenna. If you are constantly tuned into thoughts of scarcity, limitation, or frustration, your reality will organize itself around that frequency. If, on the other hand, you begin to cultivate thoughts of abundance, expansion, and possibilities, your reality inevitably reorganizes to reflect this new vibration. But change does not happen abruptly. You don't wake up one day in a completely different universe. The transition occurs through small adjustments, parallel realities slightly different from one another, unfolding like pages turning in a book. You shift from one to the next gradually, and that is why many don't notice it. Imagine driving on a road and, without realizing it, slightly turning the steering wheel. The change in direction is so subtle that at first, it seems like you are still on the same path. But after a while, you notice that you are in a completely different place. Reality functions the same way. Small adjustments in your emotional state, your focus, and your decisions cause you to enter alternative versions of your own life. And this is where one of the biggest challenges arises. Unconscious patterns that keep you locked into the same timeline. How many times have you felt that your life was stuck in a loop? That the same challenges kept repeating, the same types of people came and went, and certain negative emotions always seem to return? This happens because your vibration is anchored to that specific frequency of reality, and unless you become aware of it, you will continue to resonate with the same version of your experience. But here is a powerful secret. You can change. You can break these cycles simply by becoming aware of how your energy is shaping your experience. The more you notice your patterns, the easier it becomes to change them. Reality is malleable, and at any moment, you can make the decision to shift your frequency and step into a new version of your life. Now, you might be wondering, how can I tell when I have already shifted realities? Are there signs? Subtle markers that indicate this transition? Yes, there are. But like everything in this process, they are subtle and require sensitivity to recognize. The signs that you have entered a new reality are all around you, but they require an observant mind to notice them. Most people move through these transitions without realizing, too caught up in their routines to notice the small details that reveal the shift. But if you start paying closer attention, you will see that reality always leaves clues. One of the first indicators is a change in your perception of time. Have you ever felt that certain hours pass too quickly, while others seem to drag on without explanation? This phenomenon may reflect your shift between different vibrational frequencies of reality. When your vibration is elevated and you enter a flow of energy more aligned with your purpose, time seems to fly. On the other hand, when you are stuck in a denser frequency filled with resistance and internal conflict, time may feel stagnant, as if you are walking in circles. Another powerful sign is synchronicities, those coincidences that seem so precise that they defy logic. You think about someone and suddenly that person messages you. You are reflecting on a new path in life, and then you repeatedly see numbers like 111, 222, 333. You come across books, music, or conversations that seem to answer exactly the questions you had internally. This is not random. These are confirmations that you have aligned with a new version of reality, where your intuition and the flow of the universe are in sync. Additionally, you may notice subtle changes in how you perceive the people around you. They may react differently to you, as if something in your energy has shifted. Perhaps someone who used to ignore you now pays more attention. Or, conversely, people you used to connect with may seem more distant, as if they no longer vibrate at the same frequency. This happens because when you change your vibration, you alter the way you fit into other people's realities. And then there is that inexplicable feeling that the environment around you is slightly different, even though rationally, everything seems the same. It may be a sense of displacement, as if something is out of place, but you cannot pinpoint exactly what. Colors may seem more vibrant, the air may feel lighter, interactions may sound different. These small details indicate that you have moved into a new timeline, a reality where the energy around you is not quite the same as before. These signs are subtle, but once you start noticing them, you realize that changes are happening all the time. The big question is, if these transitions are constant, can we choose which reality we want to move into? The answer is yes. And the key to this lies in your internal state. If you can shift realities without realizing it, imagine the power of doing it consciously. Most people live on autopilot, reacting to the world rather than shaping it. But the truth is, you can direct your transition into realities more aligned with what you truly want to experience. The key to this is in your vibration, how you perceive and interact with the world. It all begins with awareness of your thoughts and emotions. Every thought you have, every feeling you cultivate, is emitting a frequency. If you constantly live in the energy of worry, fear, or doubt, you align with a reality that reflects those vibrations. But if you raise your frequency through gratitude, presence, and clear intention, you start stepping into versions of reality where those qualities manifest in an amplified way. Think of it as a vast ocean of possibilities. There are infinite versions of your life unfolding simultaneously, and you have the ability to choose which one you navigate toward. But to do that, you must learn to steer the wheel of your consciousness instead of simply drifting aimlessly. The first tool for this shift is gratitude. It may seem simple, but gratitude has a powerful effect on your vibrational frequency. When you focus on what you already have instead of what you lack, you send a signal to the universe that you are tuned into abundance. And since reality responds to your energy, more experiences of abundance naturally begin to emerge. Another tool is meditation. When you silence your mind, you momentarily escape the programming of your current reality and open yourself to new possibilities. In deep meditative states, it becomes possible to access levels of consciousness where the transitions between realities become more evident. In this state, you can clearly visualize the version of reality you wish to experience and, more importantly, feel the energy of that reality as if it were already yours. And then there is conscious intention. If you desire real change, it is not enough to simply wish for it. You must decide. And that decision must be sustained by actions, by aligned thoughts, and by a vibrational state that already resonates with the reality you want to live. It is not just about imagining something different, but about acting as if you are already living in this new version of your life. This means that small changes in how you perceive the world can open doors to entirely new experiences. It means that you have more power than you realize to shape your journey. But this transition is not limited to your waking state. What happens in your dreams and altered states of consciousness also plays a crucial role in this journey. Dreams are portals to realities beyond the comprehension of the rational mind. While your body sleeps, your consciousness expands, traveling through different layers of existence. Have you ever felt that a dream was more real than waking life? Or that you woke up from a dream feeling as if you had lived something that did not belong to your ordinary experience? This is no coincidence. Lucid dreams, deep meditative states, and even déjà vu moments are hints that your consciousness has already transitioned between realities before. In lucid dreams, you awaken within the dream itself. You realize that you are dreaming, and from that moment on, you can choose where to go, what to do, and how to shape the environment around you. This is a direct glimpse into your creative power. What few people realize is that this ability to create and modify reality within dreams is the same ability that can be applied to the waking state. You are dreaming right now, only this dream manifests as the world you call real. Many of the deepest insights about the nature of reality come during altered states of consciousness. During deep meditation, you may experience a moment of absolute clarity where you realize that your identity is just a small fraction of what you truly are. You may feel that there are multiple versions of yourself coexisting in different dimensions, each vibrating at a different frequency. Déjà vu, on the other hand, is one of the most intriguing manifestations of this phenomenon. Have you ever felt like you were living a moment that had already happened before? As if you were remembering something that was happening for the first time? This sensation may be a reflection of an alignment between timelines, a convergence point between different versions of your reality. It is a reminder that time is not as linear as we think, but rather a field of interconnected possibilities. The reality you are experiencing now is just one layer among many others. Your state of consciousness determines which of these layers you can access. If you start cultivating higher mental states, you will notice that the boundaries between dreams and reality begin to dissolve. You become a traveler between worlds, a conscious creator of your own journey. But if this power is so accessible, why do so many people still feel trapped in the same reality, unable to change? The answer lies in the invisible forces that keep you anchored to a single version of existence. What prevents you from transitioning into a new reality is not the external world but the invisible barriers that exist within you. Most of these barriers are not physical but rather beliefs, emotional patterns, and conditioning that you have accumulated throughout your life. Without realizing it, you may be sustaining a version of your existence that no longer resonates with who you truly are, simply because you are stuck in old stories that keep repeating themselves. Limiting beliefs are one of the strongest anchors holding you in the same timeline. Since childhood, you have been taught to believe in certain truths about life, that the world is difficult, that money is scarce, that happiness is temporary, that change is slow and painful. These beliefs are not just random ideas, they are the structure of your reality. And as long as you continue to operate from them, you will keep experiencing the world according to these limitations. Attachment to the past can also be a major obstacle. Often you do not change because you are clinging tightly to something that should have already been left behind. People, situations, resentments, regrets, all of these can act as a vibrational weight, keeping you tied to a version of your reality that no longer reflects who you have become. The more you insist on carrying the past, the harder it is to access new possibilities. The fear of the unknown is another force that prevents many transitions. Changing realities means stepping into unfamiliar territory, where old certainties disappear. This can be frightening. The mind likes what is familiar, even if the familiar is uncomfortable. That is why many people choose to stay in repetitive cycles. They prefer a known pain over an uncertain transformation. But the unknown is not your enemy. It is where all new possibilities reside. And then there are accumulated negative emotions. Anger, guilt, resentment, frustration. All of these emotions create a vibration that keeps you stuck in a particular frequency. They become an energetic field around you, filtering your experiences and limiting what you can access. If you want to change your reality, you need to cleanse this field. You need to release these emotions to allow new experiences to enter. The good news is that none of these barriers are insurmountable. All of them can be dissolved with awareness, intention, and practice. And when you learn to free yourself from them, you discover that you can align with the reality you want to live far more easily than you ever imagined. But how, in practice, can you do this? How can you adjust your vibration and connect with the reality you wish to experience? Aligning with the reality you desire is not an act of force or resistance but a process of tuning in. Just like a radio station, your life is determined by the frequency at which you vibrate. If you want a reality of abundance, peace, and expansion, you must begin to vibrate at the same frequency as those experiences. But how do you do this in practice? The first step is to adjust your vibration through daily practices of awareness and connection. Everything you feel and think is constantly emitting a signal to the universe. If your mind is filled with worries and limitations, your vibration will remain trapped in the same reality. But if you begin to cultivate elevated emotions such as gratitude, enthusiasm, and confidence, you will naturally tune into a more expansive reality. One of the most powerful ways to do this is to act as if the desired reality is already yours. This does not mean pretending or living in delusion, but rather internally embodying the energy of what you want to experience. If you want to be more prosperous, start thinking and acting like someone who already lives in abundance. If you desire more peace, begin responding to life's challenges with the calm and clarity of someone who has already found that inner state. Letting go of habits and patterns that belong to your previous reality is also essential. Every habit you have, every recurring thought, every way of reacting to the world reinforces a specific version of your life. If you want real change, you must be willing to release everything that no longer resonates with your new frequency. Ask yourself, what patterns am I still holding on to that are keeping me stuck in this reality? What do I need to let go of to access a higher version of myself? And above all, trust the process. Transitioning to a new reality does not happen overnight. But when you maintain a clear intention, when you sustain the energy of what you want to live, the universe begins to reorganize everything around you to align you with that new experience. Reality is waiting for your choice. What will you do from this moment forward?